We get a lot of questions at Ditto, and one such question that we recently got last week was, I have an autoimmune condition, can I even get health insurance? And if yes, will it actually help me when I need it? And that question makes complete sense because autoimmune conditions don't behave like normal illnesses. They don't come once and go away. They actually stay with you, they flare up, they calm down, and sometimes they suddenly get very expensive. So folks, today let's talk about insurance for autoimmune conditions. Before that, welcome. I am Shashank and trusted by over 10 lakh Indians. Ditto is backed by Zerodha with free support. Compare insurance plans with honest advice, no spam or no sales pressure. Book your free call via the link in the description. Autoimmune diseases happen when your immune system starts attacking your own body. In India, we're seeing more and more diagnoses now, partly because of better detection and partly because lifestyle and environmental factors are changing. Conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, ankylosing spondylitis, psoriasis, multiple sclerosis, inflammatory bowel disease, even type 1 diabetes are far more common than people think. Now, here's the important part though. Many of these conditions are manageable in early stages with routine medicines and regular monitoring. But the same condition can become extremely expensive when it progresses or when advanced treatment is required. Biologics, immunosuppressants, disease-modifying therapies, ICU admissions during flare-ups, or even surgery can easily push annual costs into a few lakhs, and in several cases, well beyond that. Now, this is exactly why health insurance becomes actually non-negotiable for autoimmune conditions. Not because you're always hospitalized, but because when things go wrong, they do go wrong fast and they cost a lot. Okay, now that we know why insurance matters here, let's talk about the real challenge. Buying health insurance after an autoimmune diagnosis is not easy. Insurers see these conditions as high risk because they're chronic, unpredictable, and long-term. That means approvals are stricter, waiting periods are longer, co-pays are common, and in some cases, proposals are outright rejected. But that doesn't mean you stop evaluating plans properly. Whatever options are available to you, you still need to choose carefully because a weak policy will only give you false comfort. So what actually matters when you're choosing a health plan for an autoimmune condition is the sum insured first. And that cannot be low. 10 to 15 lakh is a realistic starting point. Treatments aren't a one-time expense here. Tests, medicines, consultations, and hospitalizations, well, they can happen multiple times in a year. A low cover gets exhausted very quickly. Next comes bonus and restoration. Now, these two features do a lot of heavy lifting. Bonus benefits help your coverage grow over time, which is important because medical costs don't stay constant. Restoration ensures that if one flare-up eats into your cover, you still have protection left for the next one. And with autoimmune conditions, multiple claims in the same year are not unusual. Now, heading to the next bit, that is OPD coverage. Autoimmune care is not just about hospital stays. There are regular doctor visits, blood tests, imaging, medication changes, and follow-ups. If your policy has OPD coverage, well and good, either built-in or as an add-on, it can actually significantly reduce out-of-pocket expenses over the long run. Waiting periods are another big factor. Since autoimmune diseases are declared as pre-existing from day one, most policies will impose a waiting period. The goal is to reduce that gap as much as possible. Now, some plans do offer add-ons that shorten waiting periods from 3 years to 1 or 2 years. The shorter the period is, the sooner your insurance actually becomes useful instead of just sitting there. And then comes the restrictions. Now, co-pays, disease-wise sublimits, room rent caps, these are very common in plans issued to people with autoimmune conditions. You won't always be able to avoid them, but you should try to minimize them. A policy that looks affordable but forces you to pay 20 or 30% of every bill can still drain your savings. Now, let's talk about options that actually exist. If issuance is difficult, plans like Care Freedom are often considered because they're designed for people with extreme existing illnesses. The chances of acceptance are quite high, but the trade-off is clear. There are co-pays, there are room rent limits, disease-wise sublimits, and waiting periods. It's not the perfect plan, folks, but it can be a lifeline if you're already facing multiple rejections. Another one is Aditya Birla Active 1 Vital. Now, this is designed for people with serious medical conditions. Compared to the typical last resort plans, it offers relatively stronger features, but underwriting still depends on how stable and controlled the condition is. Now, if underwriting does allow, mainstream comprehensive plans like HDFC Ergo Optima Secure, Care Supreme, Aditya Birla Active 1 Max, ICICI Lombard Elevate, Niva Bupa Reassure 2.0, Tata Medicare Select or Premier, or even Star Health Superstar are far superior in the longer run. They offer better restoration, fewer restrictions, stronger coverage structures, and more flexibility. The challenge though is not the policy itself, but getting approved. And this is important to understand. Approval depends heavily on stability, how long you've had the condition, how well it's controlled, and what medicines you're on. and whether there have been any recent flare-ups. Full and honest disclosure is absolutely critical. Hiding information may get you a policy today, but it can destroy your claim tomorrow. One more thing, folks, that many people miss. If an autoimmune condition is diagnosed after the policy is issued, it is treated as a new illness. And in most cases, coverage starts after the initial waiting period, usually day 30, subject to policy terms. That's why, folks, buying insurance early matters so much. Alright, let me leave you with this thought. Autoimmune conditions are not short-term problems. They affect energy, mobility, work, mental health, and finances over years, sometimes decades. Savings alone are not designed to handle unpredictable recurring medical costs. Insurance is. But the window to get good insurance closes fast once a diagnosis is on table. Which is why, whether you're already diagnosed or just trying to plan ahead, choosing the right structure, the right features, and the right insurer matters far more than just picking the cheapest premium. And if you're confused, here is where we come. You can always talk to us at Ditto. We'll look at your case honestly, explain what's possible and what's not, and help you avoid policies that look comforting on paper, but fail when you actually need them. Alright folks, I will see you in the next one. Until then, happy insurance hunting.